What is going on? What is going on? It's Big Game James here, and I'm with my dog E2Blue. You know how we do. We ain't did a show in a while, but we freestyling now.
Hey, 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 hey.
I was just picturing you roller skating with that. You feel me, dog? You know what I'm saying? You be killing that with that roller skating thing. So I was just trying to flow with you.
Well, you know how I get down, bro.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right.
Well, we ain't really all right because these Cowboys. Let's jump right into it.
They ain't all
Um,
right.
no, they God doggish, and now players is doing mutiny. Players is talking, and we're going to talk about that because I feel like it's a few players. I think, but I want to get your opinion on it. But shout out to you. Let's jump out there real quick. News just came up. Brandon Knight. We just found out that he is going to the short term IR. I believe he's got a knee injury, so he will not be playing that Washington game.
I,
That's another blow. Go
I
ahead.
was a little, I was like, what? I didn't even see him get hurt in the game.
I know, right? And Brandon Knight has been my guy for the last couple of years.
Right.
This is the guy I vouched for. And, I said, never said he was a starter, but I said he'd be a good I said he was the swing tackle last year, and he's been doing a decent job at holding the fort down. He had some trouble last night, a lot of trouble last night. It wasn't one of his best performances, but now he's out. He's not playing in that Washington game. Now the whole offensive line's got to scramble. We don't know what's up with Zach Martin. He's got the concussion. We don't know if he's going to play. So right now, what do you think about this offensive line being in flux?
Well, I was talking to Mark Holmes about it. Bruh, the offensive line is one of those positions where you cannot mess with. They got to have cohesion. It's one band, one sound over there. You can't bring people in and out of there and expect them to work and gel together. You know what I mean? No matter how good they are, they got to have time together. And with this offensive line, just with guys getting moved in and out, they're never going to be able to gel, man. It's crazy. It really sucks, man. I mean, injuries are inevitable, man, but you know, damn, it happens.
Yeah, it's all bad. And like I said, with this offensive line being in flux, you had that lineup that was going against the Cardinals. It was Brandon Knight, Connor
Yeah.
Williams, Tyler Biadasz, finally Connor McGovern, who struggled, and the one and only Terrence Steele. Okay, I'm not going to throw him in the Chaz Green because I think he still has potential.
Nah, he ain't nowhere near as
He
bad as
he I
Chaz
think
Green.
he has potential, but he's got to get bigger. He got to get stronger. He's got that soft putty weight. You feel me?
That's gonna take another off season.
Mm-hmm. But he has potential, so I'm not gonna hate on him. But now we're hearing out here about this mutiny about the team. Some players have come out and said the coaches aren't prepared. Um, you know, turn your thing down a little bit if you could, because I'm hearing my echo. Um, but
Is that better?
yeah, that's perfect. But
Okay.
they got Cowboys players coming out saying, coaching staff's not prepared. They don't know how to do stuff on the fly. Jalen came out early. This is a complex scheme. Alden Smith came out and said, "Shut the hell up." No, it ain't. You know what I'm saying? What's really going on now? You got players coming out saying, starting talking things. What's your really thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, the reason why Alden Smith likes it so much is because he's a 3-4 guy. He's played in this type of defense before with the 49ers and the Raiders, so he knows it very well. So to him, it's really not a really much of a learning process because he gets it. You got guys on this defensive line, they're hand in the dirt type of guys like Everson Griffin and Demarcus Lawrence. You see the reason why you haven't seen a production out of guys like that. And it really affects them and Poe as well. I'm pretty sure that Poe is one of the guys that don't like it because I feel like he just gave up. Because there's no way you're gonna tell me that Poe is just like playing this bad, you know, just playing that bad. Um, I know that Demarcus Lawrence is one of the guys that said it. I know Poe is one of the guys that said it, but I'm not a fan of Mike Nolan coming in here and basically trying to turn this defense into something that they're not. We don't have the linebackers to be a 3-4 team. I've said this many times before. They're hybrid, they're small guys. They're not going to head up against offensive linemen. You're not going to ask them to do that. It's not like the Packers and San Francisco where they have you look at the Packers, perfect example. They have what's the guy? Was it Davian was it
Smith,
Smith?
Darius
Yeah,
Smith. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's basically an outside linebacker, but he's as big as DeMarcus Lawrence. So, he can do that. He's a 3-4 type of guy. It doesn't work with our linebackers. Our linebackers are sideline to sideline type of hitters. That's it.
Well, okay, I feel you with that. They came in with, Mike McCarthy just came out and said, I told him when we came in here, we're going to do a new scheme. We're changing our philosophy. We're changing things. Um, I'm confused because at the end of the day, dog, Brian Marinelli was here and things weren't happening.
Let me tell you though, the thing about Rob Marinelli, although his scheme wasn't the best because again, that Tampa 2 got old and they were just basically in the same base the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't switch it up. That was the issue with that. If they would have did some things to switch it up a little bit with the old regime, it would have been fine. But one thing that I will say good about Marinelli is the fact that he had a philosophy. His philosophy was the ball, the ball, the ball. He had these guys running for the ball. And this is what he predicated in practice all the time. Mike Nolan doesn't do that. And I think that's why they think that these coaches can't coach because they're not the same type of coaches that they're used to having.
But
They
whose
don't
fault?
really
That's
have philosophies.
but here's the thing though, E2. We understand that, and I'm not hating on Marinelli because I agree with you with the guys giving full effort. When Marinelli was there, they always gave full effort, no
That's
matter
because
what.
of that's because of his philosophy of the ball, the ball, the ball.
Right. But at the end of the day, they still weren't producing. I mean, they were okay. That wasn't a great defense under Marinelli. He ain't had no great defenses in
So
Dallas.
this is the thing. This is the thing.
Talk to me.
You it's give and take what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So you got rid of a great philosophy, which is what they were doing to get the ball. Um, but you lost. So you got rid of the good thing. You got rid of the philosophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gained a good scheme. Mike Nolan has a good scheme. It just doesn't fit for this particular defense. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So it's a give and take thing. It's like you lost something and you gained something, but you need both of them to succeed. That's the problem.
We'll see. Okay. Well, when we're talking about this defensive line, we talk. Jalen came out because Marinelli's system was more one gap. It's more of a 3-4 with a Nolan, and it's more of a two gapping scheme now, and it's more of a complex scheme where you have to understand your reads, you have to understand your assignments, you have to know your reads. Where Marinelli was more get it and go,
Lane
especially
integrity.
the front four. A lot of times they were just going straight up the field, and those offensive lines were blocking down on them. Running backs were peeling on their backside because Marinelli had one philosophy coming straight up that side where they are running to, and you can and offensive linemen were peeling the backside. And how many times were we seeing backdoor cuts? Now listen, I'm not dogging Marinelli, but what I'm saying is that philosophy with the players that we had since 2014 when he came in. 2014 was maybe 2018, 2014 was maybe his most successful year as far as turnovers, but
Yeah,
2018 was probably his best year in my opinion as the defense as a whole. But
right.
even then we were 3-5, we weren't good, and we came back. So my thing is now you got a Mike Nolan. Players are saying, "Oh, Jalen Smith, your linebackers coming out saying, well, this scheme is too complex." But when Marinelli was there and they left, he was saying, "Oh, players want to do what they want to do, and guys, then just stay with their assignments." And that's what D Law saying. Now we hear you get a new coach, and now y'all saying, now we hearing talking again. I'm gonna keep it real, E2. I don't want to hear that shit, dog, because y'all low key wasn't saying that shit when Marinelli was there until he left. Now you got a new coach, and it's only 6 games in the season. You're like, oh, they don't do this, and they don't do that. I mean, what do you
I
thought?
think I think I really think what it really is, bro. It is the lack of and people don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. It's the lack of the off season, man. We know that
But
Mike Nolan.
everybody didn't have an all season
Yeah,
E2.
yes, but everybody didn't have a new system that they were running.
The
You
Browns
look at
did.
you look
They
at
got a
bro,
whole new defensive coach, big dog, and
who
the Browns. That's a
right,
whole new defensive
but they
coordinator.
are but they're also don't have a coach that's there switching their fucking defense.
Okay.
They're still running the same shit. They just have a different coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Our issue is, like I said, he is coming in here, bringing these guys to what happened to working the scheme around the players. On
Right.
defense, we're working the players into the scheme, and
Right.
these players don't fit into this fucking scheme. And
Right.
that's the bottom line, bro.
Okay. So you're saying DeMarcus Lawrence is not having a good year because of the scheme?
Yeah, but look at him. They have him switching both left and right sides. I mean, that's kind of cool.
He's a left end defender,
But
and
he's a
he's not good
lefty.
at
He's
standing up.
he's
Yeah,
not on the right, and he's not good at rushing from standing up. Even Everson Griffin said himself, I'm a hand in the dirt guy. I don't stand up.
but he went down and he's still not doing shit.
Well, I don't know.
You get what I'm saying, big dog?
I
And
just think
here's
the
my thing.
assignment. I think it's the assignments. I really do. It's the scheme and
Think
the
about it,
assignments.
but
It's
you
Mike
watch the
Nolan.
E2. You watch the tape. Everson Griffin doesn't do gap contain. He
That's true.
doesn't. He's going inside when he's supposed to stay outside on gap contain, and
Yeah.
he's supposed to set that edge. He keeps peeling on the inside, and the offensive linemen are sealing him. What is that? That to me is rogue because you're supposed to set the edge.
You know why he's doing that? Because for
Why?
whatever reason, Poe is not holding up on the inside.
But you know what? Poe wasn't all that at Carolina. That defense gave
Well,
up
he also
147 yards rushing the game, 5.2 yards a carry, big dog.
not to make excuses for him, but he was also hurt too. He had that quad thing like what you call it? Gerald McCoy had.
But think about it. You know, and I know Snacks Harrison was better than Poe. And what we really
Oh yeah,
needed,
definitely,
you feel
definitely.
me? What we really
All world.
needed, Poe was Poe was the shut up Cowboys fan signing.
Yeah, but I think that if I think and boy, I just would have wished
Ain't it
we
though? Come on, B2.
I agree. I just wish that Gerald McCoy was still here.
Oh my
I just
gosh,
wanted to
because
see
I
what
feel like he would check us. He would check that
yes,
team. That's what
yes,
we missing. We don't. Who's
man,
the leader
bro.
on defense? Who's the leader on defense right now?
Nobody
E2.
right now.
Nobody. Nobody. There's no leader on the defense. There
But you could
hasn't been
tell
one.
but you could tell who the leader is on that back end.
Who?
LVE.
I mean, did he have a good game yesterday?
That defense, that everybody was lined up in the right spots when he was in the game. I'll tell you that. Because I was watching him the whole time. He was telling Jalen, like, hey, get the guys over here. We got to get hit. You know what I'm saying? Like he was pointing and directing, and he was basically being the manager back there.
I feel you, but you know what? What do you think about Jalen Smith?
I think that when everybody around him is doing their job, I think that it allows him to do him. I'm a Jalen Smith fan, man. I don't understand why people are down him. People don't understand. Like I play linebacker, so I understand the weak side, the
Why
strong side.
can't we be
I
down
understand.
on him though, E2? Because look. I mean, I'm not piling on him because everybody else. Trust me, I'm not. But let's keep it real, dog. He only got one leg. I've been talking about it enough. And you keep seeing it in these games. And yes, he had a good
But
game
but they
against the
already
Giants.
said, but they already said that he's not going to be able to cut like that ever again.
Okay, so why
Well,
are
we
you
already
paying
know.
him that much money if you know he can't cut? That don't make sense, E2.
I don't know.
E2, that don't make sense, dog. Because at the end of the day, the best game he had was against the Giants, right? He had 14 tackles, but he was hitting guys behind the line of scrimmage because that's what you want your linebacker to do. That's what we
Yeah,
held Sean Lee to meet them
yeah.
in the hole, negative yardage, or get them behind the line of scrimmage. You can have 14 tackles, but if you're getting them 2, 3, 4 yards down the line of scrimmage, that ain't great tackles. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
But he did that in the Giants game. You know why? Because Jason Garrett has a basic ass offense. He understand it and knew it. He knew the plays. They didn't have anybody explosive. As soon as I said, let's see that against the Cardinals. And what happened, dog? I watched the tape. He struggled. You feel me? So I'm not hating on him, but they paid him 13 million, and he's supposed to. If you're paying him 13 million, he's one of your highest paid players on the team. He's got to make plays, and he just can't do it because we know the limitations. Well, then you
But you
shouldn't
know
have
what's
signed him
funny?
for that.
With the limitations, we've seen what he's done before. We've seen this guy play great in games. So it's not like he's just some bust like
No,
who was
he's
that
not a
guy? Like
bust.
he's not a Bobby Carpenter. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no.
So I mean, I'm not really. Everybody gets too focused on the money too. And this is the shit. I understand that like you want your players to produce that's making big money. I get it, but Big Game James, is that shit coming out your pocket?
I feel you in that aspect. I
And
totally understand.
that's the part I'm talking about. That's the issue. Like fans are too focused on their money, man. Who gives a damn? Like you I can see if the guy was a total bust, like Bobby Carpenter, like Chaz Green, like some of these other guys that we had that didn't maturate. But they see something in Jalen Smith. And but they already knew that with that drop foot, that ain't his fault. So
But
what
it's
they're
their
gonna have
fault
to
if
do
they're
as the
paying him
coaching
13
staff
million a year and
is
you
make
give
sure they get a guy that's like LVE to be in that middle so he can be on the weak
right.
side
But
and do
when
what he
LVE
does.
is hurt, you got to have a guy that can step up and take over that. And
Bro,
Jalen
bro,
hasn't
Joe
done that.
Thomas came in and played all right.
Played all right. He didn't play
But
great. He played
but
all
you got
right.
but he's a backup guy though. For him to come in and do that and actually have some production, shit, the linebackers, in my opinion, were doing better than the damn defensive line. Because the defensive line is if they're not tackling, that's the issue. If it's getting to the second level, that's the problem.
I,
See,
I
your
totally
linebackers play
I totally
better
agree
when your
because you got to
defensive
play two.
front is
Yeah.
playing better.
Mm-hmm.
If your
You're right.
defensive front is not playing better, it messes up what the linebackers do. So it's not always the linebackers' fault
True.
when things tear down like that.
True.
Now,
I
granted, when
totally
I
agree.
played football, when I played my 1 year in Arena League, like my front guys were doing their thing, so I was able to go sideline to sideline. I had tackles and I was tearing dudes up. But
Right.
me, I'm a type of dude. I'm a smaller dude, so I'm not going to be going head to head with the offensive lineman. So
Right.
if they're not doing their job, I'm screwed, bro.
Right. Right. Okay. I mean, I totally agree with that. What you're saying. The guys up front have to play better. But you know what? At the end of the day, here's what I say. I got on deal. I made a post about salaries, and I'm not even trying to be in another man's pocket. But
I'm not doing that.
I'm not in another man's pocket. But these are real. If you have these salaries, right? You paid these salaries for a reason. Okay. Anthony Brown's not getting $21 million, right?
Right.
Okay, he's not getting 21 million because he's not a $21 million player, right?
No.
He's not that guy. So you paid Amari 20, you paid D Law. So you would think if you're paying those guys the highest paid, you want the production from the highest paid, don't you? Isn't that fair?
Right. But you also have to put the factor in what are we doing as far as running the defense or whatever that we're doing? Because again, I'm not in that locker room, so I don't know exactly what they're running in practice.
Right,
And
right.
because David Hellman and them can't get to practice, they can't
Mm-hmm.
even tell us what's going on either. So
Exactly.
they don't even know what's going on. So
Right.
at the end of the day, we're just trying to be a fly on the wall and use football knowledge as content creators as we are trying to figure this out. So the best thing that I could think of right now, the
Mm-hmm.
speculation, the most smart speculation I can make right now, we've seen D-Law play much better than that in Marinelli's scheme. We know that these are 4-3 guys, and I keep going back to that because this is what they do best. You look at Jordan Lewis. What happened to Jordan Lewis? What happened to the scrappy guy that went up against Des Bryant? You remember that? So
Yeah.
again, we've
I think
seen these
he's one of
guys
the
play
guys
better.
that said something too.
Him, yeah, yeah, you know that because
Because
the
he's
reason
out.
why they're saying is because they feel like the scheme is making them look bad because they know that they play better than that. And I know that fans are like the the majority of the fans, especially the ones that don't know really the game of football, the X's and
Mm-hmm.
O's, they
Right.
think their whole philosophy is, "What have you done for me lately?" They don't care
Exactly.
about that. But you
Right.
always have to remember that. Don't forget what this player has done and you got to formulate your ideas of this person, not just off of what he's doing now, but what he's done before. Think about when things change, you go to different systems, you play different. Perfect example, Clinton Dix. When he first got drafted with the Packers, he played lights out. He went to Redskins, didn't do a damn thing because it wasn't a good scheme fit. He went to the Bears, he came back and was getting interceptions. I don't know why he got kicked off this team, but for whatever reason, they didn't even give him a chance. And I think that because him and Brandon Carr got cut because they were talking. But it's got to be some truth to that, and these players got to be right to some point. If not only the ones that are playing, the ones that are not even here anymore are saying the same thing. So in my mind, when I look at that, it just tells me that what the defensive coordinator is doing, they're not that communication is just screwed up right there. They're not trusting the new scheme because they don't have that they don't feel like they have that connection with Nolan like they did the last regime because again, they don't really know him that way. They just met him. They didn't even have an off season. They just met in freaking training camp. You talking about no preseason games, so they couldn't even implement any of these ideas in the playbook onto the field. So you're just talking about, all right, we're just gonna go in week one. Remember, when you're game planning for a game, you're not looking at the whole playbook. You're going on a set thing that you're doing for each game after game. You're not looking at the whole thing. So they really don't have time during the season to learn that. That's what the off season is for. That's why I said that shit is important. And people don't be listening to me, but this is the truth. This is real shit I'm speaking.
Yeah, you are speaking real shit because the COVID did F everything up because you have a new staff, especially a new defense. I totally feel you. Um, I can't even disagree with what you're saying, everything that you were saying. But I will say this: um, D Law, you didn't have any good games, and then you played the Giants, who you played a mediocre tackle, and you had a great game. You had one of your best statistical games: 9 pressures, eight hurries, a sack, strip sack, fumble. You had
Well,
one of your best. Hold up, you had one of your best games against Cam Fleming. You get what I'm saying?
that's because the
Cam
offensive line is
Fleming,
weak.
dog. Okay,
The
Giants
O
is
line weak.
shitty. They scored 34 points on us. Giants is shitty with Jason Ass Garrett. I'm not giving D-Law and them dogs no pass. I get what you're saying about this defensive philosophy. I get it. But when his hand is in the dirt and he has to rush the quarterback, he's not doing it.
I got you. I got you. And also too, and I could put out there too. Hey, you can also look at it this way too. Jason Garrett knows these players like we know Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett drafted most of these goddamn players on this team, so he know them more than anybody. He know them more than McCarthy and Mike Nolan know 'em. So he know what they're capable of, what they're not doing. So
True story.
I mean, if you notice, he called a much better game against the Cowboys than he did against any other game
We
this
knew
season.
that because that was
Jason
personal
Garrett did
for him.
some stuff
I
that
said
he
he
didn't
was
even
going to do trick plays,
right. He did
and he
stuff that
got
he
him.
didn't even do when he was our damn coach.
Right, he got him off, and he got and they were for touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns called back. If they
Bruh.
didn't get called back, we probably lose that game. Let's
Right.
keep it real.
Right. 100.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like I said, so going from here, going forward, do you keep a Mike Nolan in your opinion, or do you see some more games, or in your opinion say, hey, okay, let's pull the plug and let's move on, or do you ride this out the whole year with Mike Nolan and say let's move do something in the off season in your opinion?
Before we get hasty and just want to go fire everybody,
Yeah, I don't want to fight.
let's peel back this freaking adhesive and see what's underneath. Because we need to figure out what the actual issue is. Once you figure out what the damn issue is, then you can figure out, okay, well, I do agree. I'm not the biggest fan of Mike Nolan. He doesn't have a lot of success coming from where he was. I mean, he was kind of adopted a good defense when he was the defensive coordinator of the Raiders. I mean, of the
Mm-hmm.
Ravens
Mm-hmm.
when when good old Ray was there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at that, it's like, okay, you look at his track record, it's like it don't speak too well. But I'm not saying that his defense is trash. It's just not good for what we're doing. He needs to sit down with these defensive players. I don't know if they need to go out to dinner or something, have like a defensive players dinner or something, just hang out and just figure out, just go through this playbook and be like, okay, this is what I'm asking of you guys. Let me know what you guys think. They need to just have a conference about the thing and figure this shit out. I don't know why they're not doing that. I know COVID is probably a reason, but they need to figure that they got to get together and figure that out because what Mike Nolan is trying to get them to do, obviously they're not capable of doing. So they're going to have to scale it down, figure out some things. And I don't think that the playbook was hard. It's just that it's a lot of it. It's way more in depth than what Marinelli had. So they're not used to that. So I think these guys just need to stop being babies and grow the fuck up and try to learn what he's doing. But if it's not to their strengths, then Nolan needs to realize that these guys are not capable of doing this, that, and the third, and he needs to be a coach, and that's what coaches do, are supposed to adjust and just to make the scheme fit for where these players play. Period.
I feel you. Mike McCarthy just came out and said though, after week 2 of that Atlanta game, we dumbed everything down. We scaled everything down and simplified everything. Change is going to happen because this is the system that we brought in. So guys have to learn it. And
Yeah,
he even said, him and Mike Nolan said, we kind of understand that players naturally revert back to their ways of being used to, but
they
they have
do.
to get used to doing it this way. So
Yeah,
I'm not giving not blame from to Mike McCarthy or Mike Nolan, but players got to step up. This
they
is your
do.
job.
They do.
This is your job. You're not gonna have everything perfect in the NFL. Just like
That's
me and
true.
you with a job, right? E2, if
Yeah,
me and you are working at a high paying job, and all of a sudden they change management,
step it
so
up.
what? They don't give a F. You're
You
gonna have
gotta
to
adhere. You
you're
gotta
gonna have to
adhere to what
adhere,
they do.
adjust, and learn, or guess what? You're gonna be out. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
that's everywhere across the board. So I'm not making no excuses for them coaches, but I'm tired of hearing these players crying because they started crying when Marinelli left, right? Now you get Nolan here and y'all crying again. So I don't want to hear the shit from these players no more, dog.
No, I
I'm
hear you,
tired
bro.
of it. Like,
I
I
hear
don't want to
you,
hear
bro.
it. They cry too damn much because it almost reminds me. I remember when Parcells came in, I brought this up. Oh, we got it too soft over here. We need a tough coach. Parcells come over here. Parcells run it too hard. Hit training camp too hard. They brought in Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips stuff just too soft. He just too soft. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear that shit, dog. And the only reason why that's why I bring up salaries, because if you stepped out and said, I'm worth this amount of money, you need to pay me, and they said, okay, this is what you are a game changer. We're gonna pay this money. You got to be a game changer. I'm not hating on Amari, but you begin pay $20 million a year to be a game changer. You have
Yeah,
46 catches, but they ain't game changing catches.
right.
D-Lo, you making 21, but you only got 1 sack against a sorry team. You feel me? Jalen Smith, you got 63 tackles, 3rd in the league, but are they impactful tackles? You only have really 1 good game. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott, you're making $15 million a year. You lost 5 fumbles, 3 drops. These are the guys we depend on, E2.
I
These are
know.
the guys they look for as the leaders, and they're not doing it. So I don't want to hear their shit when D-Law says, F y'all. F you.
And that's definitely a head scratcher. You talk about Ezekiel Elliott. It's just like, I've never seen him fumble so much in any other year that he's been in the league. Now, I understand this game, he was probably thinking in his head, like, oh, I gotta put this team on my back, and he was thinking too much. And I'm like, bro, you gotta sit back and just let the game come to you, man. You can't just be out there forcing stuff.
I'm just saying, dog. I just feel like the players need
They
I'm
gotta
not
execute better.
they got
They
to
gotta
execute
stop
better.
playing like individuals. They gotta play together.
They have to play together as a team. And I'm sorry, the tape that I've been watching on this all 22, it ain't been all scheme. It has probably been scheme, but damn, I'm seeing some effort on these plays. Like that last game, I'm like, that ain't scheme, dog. That's effort. Like,
Yeah,
I played the game, I seen it. That's not scheme. That's a
yeah,
basic play. That's not a scheme, a schematic issue. That's you not doing what you're supposed to do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and that's what's frustrating. And then now y'all want to start laying blame because you're not doing your job. And I'm not taking the coach's side, but come on, dog. This got to work hand in hand here. You get what I'm
And
saying?
I don't think and I don't think it's fair that everybody's trying to kick McCarthy out of here, man.
That's bullshit. We did 10 years with fucking, excuse my language, E2. We did 10 fucking years with Garrett. Now y'all want to fire him after 6 games? Y'all some bullshit.
But you got to understand, Mike McCarthy went 4-12 his first year with the Packers and turned that shit around. So you understand, and that wasn't even a COVID year. So let Mike McCarthy do. That's why I said this year is house money. They playing with house money this year. I don't think the coach should be graded. I don't think any coach, any new coach for any team needs to be graded this year. They got to have an off season with their players. Period.
Yeah, we got to have some off season. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not a fan of having Mike Nolan here for a long time. I'm going to keep it
No, I'm
real.
not either.
I'm not a fan of that.
I
I
mean, if they
wasn't
got rid of him after the season, I wouldn't be mad
like
either.
I wouldn't be mad. I wasn't mad at all because I
I'd
want a
rather have
really
Marvin Lewis
aggressive.
or Singletary in.
Yeah, I want a real aggressive because Mike Nolan came in, we're going to be aggressive. Y'all only blitzing like 16, 18% of the damn time you said you was going to blitz. So you feel me? A lot of shit that you said you was going to do. And you know what? I don't fall for that shit, E2, when they be talking in the media. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to strip the ball. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Every goddamn coach is going to say that shit to make you feel good. That's what they're going to say in the media. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that shit. I need to see it on the field. And it's not, because y'all, they throwing 36 smackers on it. You feel me? Like it ain't nothing. So obviously, Mike Nolan, you ain't
Oh,
doing it.
man.
So I ain't mad if they even fired him now. I'm not gonna be mad at it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to hear the players talking shit. Y'all need to do what y'all need to do to right this ship. So if y'all need to get together, like you said, and I understand COVID, but y'all need to get together at the crib and y'all need to have a sit down talk. Y'all need to have a players only meeting. Y'all need to have something, because what we're seeing out there is not good. And when we're going against this Washington team, who's not a good team, they can beat us. That's bad business.
If they lose, I swear, if they lose against Washington this week, we might as well just go ahead and slide in the draft talk.
and in the 2021 draft, the Dallas Cowboys pick.
You need an offensive tackle, you need a safety,
You need
and a
offensive
linebacker. Let's go.
You need some defensive linemen too, because I mean the guys that we have, because Poe, I don't know how long they're gonna keep him. And then Antoine Woods was only on a 1-year deal. You got Tristan Hill was out with the torn ACL. You get what I'm saying? I like how Justin Hamilton played though.
First of all, Justin Hamilton
He
came
was
in there
aggressive as a
and
mother
was like,
sucker.
Poe, move out the way. I
Wasn't
got
he?
this.
Wasn't he? And Hamilton got some size on him. If Hamilton gonna play like that, and Poe
I
is
didn't know
gonna
he was
be,
that big.
neither did I. I didn't know he was that thick, and he was rumbling in there, E2. So if Poe, you want to sit there and act like, because I'm Dontari Poe and I deserve this, get his ass out the way and start damn Justin Hamilton, and let's roll this shit.
And see this, and the reason why they're not cutting these players is because you need them,
Mm-hmm.
regardless, because it's, you can't just get rid of players like that, especially in the COVID year with COVID, and then with these injuries being so rampant. You need all hands on deck. If anything, you just need a body out that mother. So I mean,
You feel
but
me?
Justin Hamilton, like I said, he definitely should be starting over Poe.
Yeah, he should be starting over Poe. I mean, let's not go by the name any longer. We're trying to get somebody who's out there trying to play and go hard every single damn play. Like, I don't know what's in Poe's mindset, but as I said before, I don't understand why they did not go after Snacks Harrison and went after the Poe. Like, they settled for that. Like, I just don't get that in my head, dog. That's still mind boggling.
I think at the time they were thinking Poe was going to be cheaper at the time.
Yeah, that's
Because
Stephen Jones BS.
Think about it. At the time, early in that offseason, this is before the draft we're talking about. So the number that Snacks would have wanted would have been much higher than what he got with going with Seattle.
True. And we always want a penny pinch. You don't want to pay your quarterback, who was still one of the top passer in the league, even with the broke out for the year, or he could come back. You didn't take care of him. You took care of everybody else. And look what's happening to this team. And I think that's what the bad part is. And then y'all keep feeding these lies in the media. Dak is our guy. He's the man. I don't want to hear that shit, because y'all keep lying, because y'all blame COVID why y'all didn't pay him. Right there, I didn't want to talk to Joneses no more after I heard that shit.
If they didn't know that Dak was important then, I bet you they know that shit now.
I still don't believe him, E2. I don't trust him. I don't trust them with Dak, especially if Dallas is losing. If they get a high-ass draft pick, you think they're going to pay Dak his money? No, they're not. No, they're not. And you know it.
They better, because
they're not.
Belichick is looking at
exactly.
Dak right
and all them other teams be like, guess what I could do with Dak Prescott? Go ahead and let him go if you want to.
Belichick is itching for Dak Prescott. He already gave him so many rave reviews.
And you know he can make it happen with him. And we've seen what Cowboys players lead the Dallas Cowboy organization, what they do. They succeed. Now, my last question to you, because I know you got to get off here. We talk about coaches. We talked about since 1996, Switzer, Campo, Chan Gailey, Bill Parcells, Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett, now Mike McCarthy. Been the same shit. 4 playoff wins in 24 years, and ain't like our team's been dominant. So here's my last thing to you.
Organization.
Is it the Joneses? Because every coach that's coming in here, it's the same shit.
Organization.
Are we ever going to be able to get up on? Are we just going to be frustrated fans for a very long time?
I hate to say it, man.
You know what it is. Say it. You know it.
We probably will be until, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to say. I'm not. I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Say it.
I don't want to say that because I'm not trying to be morbid, man. But I just the things ain't gonna change until.
And I and you ain't wishing death on Jerry. I'm not wishing death on Jerry.
I can't.
But it's the truth. Unless Jerry moves out the way, and the only way he's going to move out the way is death. And honestly, he's going to be like the Al Davis in my heart. He's going to be the guy that's 90 years old, still trying to give instructions and talk. I feel like Jerry is going to be that guy.
First of all, we know Jerry's like Al Davis. Al Davis was like, he looked up to Al Davis. Al Davis taught him a lot as far as being owners of, with the NFL and stuff like that. So he is a lot like Al Davis. And that's always not a good thing. But, rest in peace to Al Davis. But
rest in peace. Well, all I can say is we'll see what happens. I know you got your call like in a couple minutes. I'm going to let you do that. I appreciate everybody jumping in the feed. We had a great crowd today. This was kind of like a freestyle thing. We just jumped in. I hit up E2 like, yo, let's just do this. I don't got no plan.
Straight off the dome, baby.
Straight off the dome and off the top turnbuckle, and we just did this. So I'm going to let my guy go. I'm going to stay on here with you guys. You can go ahead and go, E2. I'm going to still talk to the people. But I appreciate you jumping in here with me, dog. Have a good time, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you. Peace.
Thanks for having me.
Peace. All right, so I'm going to keep going. You know what I'm saying? E2 was gone. He had to take a call. So I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to go too much longer, but I think the biggest thing, in my opinion, you guys got any questions, anything like that, you can put them in the feed. I think my biggest thing, in my opinion, though, is it's the same thing from the top. I made a video earlier today. It's the same thing from the top. It's the same thing. You have different coaches, but the same thing is still going on. You have different philosophies, but the same thing is still going on. And I think that's the frustrating part to me, is that no matter who you switch as the coach, the same things are happening. The same fumbles, the same miscues, the same dumb interceptions, the same dumb play, the same things going on from each coach. And to me, it's just like it's an organizational thing. And I don't want to make that as like the easy excuse, or that's the easy thing to cop out. Oh, just blame it on management. I'm not trying to blame it on management. You get what I'm saying? But it's the same thing happening under every coach that comes with the Cowboys. It's the same shit. And it's just like, when is it ever going to stop? And as me and E2 was talking about, give Mike McCarthy a little bit longer, man. Like, we had to deal with Jason Garrett this long. I believe in Mike McCarthy. I can keep it real to say I don't really believe in Mike Nolan. I can really say that. I still feel like the players need to make it try to work until, he's gone. They got to make it try to work. Players coming out saying things. I don't want to say no names, but I think it's a few players who are probably on the outs, 1-year deals, and are probably not going to be with the Cowboys next year, or who out there saying it. I wish they would put a name on it, but I understand them not putting a name on it, because players, you can't come out there and put your name out there and say, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I said that Mike Nolan ain't shit. I don't like his philosophy. He's terrible. He don't prepare. So you really think Mike Nolan's going to play you in the game when you just came out there in the media and just really dogged him and put your name on it? Yeah, he ain't going to play you. You're not going to play. So that's why I can see why players are being anonymous. But my thing is, if you're going to be anonymous, don't even say it, because it's just starting things. But I think it's more so the players that are on their way out and probably feel like they don't have another contract with the Cowboys, and this is not going to be their team in the future. So those type of players, and I'm not singling them out or dogging them, but a player who doesn't feel like he's going to be with the organization, he's on an expiring deal or he's on a 1-year deal, doesn't think he's going to be with the organization, he's going to be more apt to talk and say, well, I don't really like this philosophy, because he's not going to be here anyway. So it ain't really hurting him. So I don't really see guys who are established and are going to be here 2, 3, 4, 5 more years are going to jump out there and say that, because this is your job and you're going to be seeing your employer for the next 2 or 3 years. But guys who are on expiring deals and on 1 year deals, I can see them coming out and saying things about Nolan and this of that nature, because where are they going to really take their hit from at the end of the day? And they're not going to put their name out there because they still need to get a contract from next year and beyond. So if they put their name out there, that's going to give them bad press to other coaches and things of that nature. So they're going to stay anonymous. And I hear what James Slater said, that this didn't come out when Ron Marinelli was there, Jason Garrett was there. They didn't come out because I really do feel like the players really did like Jason Garrett. I never dogged Jason Garrett in saying that he was not a guy that was meticulous. Every coach I talked to, every player that played under him, he was meticulous. He did those things as far as organizational skills was very good, and you could see it. The guys played hard under Garrett and Marinelli, but at the end of the day, as I said before, they still weren't succeeding. There were still mishaps. There were still failures. And as I said, once Marinelli left, people were saying, oh, well, guys were doing their own thing, and this was going on and this was going on. But you weren't saying it when he was there. You say it after he leaves. And then I heard Anthony Brown say, oh, I like this new staff. You have the freedom to be able to talk. You have the freedom to be able to say whatever you want. Now all of a sudden, everybody coming out saying, oh, we don't like this. You feel me? So it's just right now, when you're losing, these type of things happen. But I remember Tom Coughlin, Michael Strahan said he hated Tom Coughlin because he had that time thing. You guys got to be here. If the meeting's at 7:30, you need to be here at 7:25. And if you're not here at that time, you're late. Like he said, he couldn't stand them. And they were ready to fire Tom Coughlin. And I'm not saying we have this type of team, but they were ready to fire him many times. You know what I'm saying? And what happened? He won 2 Super Bowls. You know what I mean? So give it time, man. Cowboys fans that want to fire Mike McCarthy after 6 damn games, like that's crazy to me. Like you just can't go firing people because you don't like what's going on. You got to give it time. And just like this COVID thing, I'm not making the excuses, but you do have to give this a little bit of time. I still feel good about McCarthy. I feel better with McCarthy than a Jason Garrett. Maybe you need to do some changes in the staff. Maybe that needs to happen, but I still have confidence in Mike McCarthy, and I think he can do this. But we got to be a little bit more patient. Let him maybe get his own players, because guess what? He inherited Jason Garrett's players. He didn't inherit his players. He didn't inherit his guys. So he's working with a former team. It's just like if you're a head coach and you are a guy that takes over a team, and this guy had this team for 5 years, they're going to be, it doesn't matter what you say and do to them, they're naturally going to revert to their old ways or their old coach, because that's what they're used to. You got to see these guys, most of these guys on this team don't know anything else but Jason Garrett, except like a freaking snapper. But a lot of these guys just know Garrett, so they just know his ways. So McCarthy comes in, and guess what? They're reverting back to what they're used to with Jason Garrett. And I feel like they're having maybe post-Garrett syndrome, is that they're used to what Garrett does. So they're crying about it because maybe they had it to where, we like Garrett. We don't like what's going on here, but that ain't the problem, because at the end of the day, you're getting paid this money to do a job. And at the end of the day, just like myself, even though I don't play in the NFL and it's a higher level and I haven't sniffed it or touched it, so I can't even compare myself to it, but it still is a job. You still are getting paid. And when you are getting paid like the best, just like if I was at a job, and I'm not trying to compare those because people try to do it, but if you're at a job, a very high paying job, you're going to have certain expectations on you that other people are. So if I'm making $30 an hour and somebody's making $8 an hour, that person who's making $8 an hour, you don't have them certain expectations for him. You get what I'm saying? You don't got no expectations for an $8 an hour person. Like at that job, you have minimal expectations because you're paying him minimal money. So you have minimal things and expectations. But if you're paying me $30 an hour or $35 or $40 an hour, well, damn it, you're going to have pressure. Okay, you're going to have pressure every damn day because you're one of the highest paid people at the firm in the company. That's what's going to happen. So people going to be on your ass. You're going to have the most stress. You're going to have the most pressure. And if you are not doing it, if you're not handling it, who you think they're going to talk to? I mean, who are they going to talk to? They're going to talk to you and they're going to say shit that you probably don't want to hear. But it's coming, and it's coming every day because you're making that money. And that's the way it is. And I ain't never trying to be in another man's pockets. But guess what? If I was playing in the NFL, they'd be saying the same shit about me. If I wasn't doing my job, they'd be saying the same thing about me. And I may not want to hear it. I may not want to listen to it. I may want to turn social media off. But if I ain't doing it, I ain't doing it. And it don't matter if I don't want to hear it. I got to step up my game and make it happen. And that's all I'm saying for the top tier guys that are getting paid this bread. The top tier guys, the Cowboys are looking for you to be them leaders and make them steps. So those guys are not doing it right now. So they're allowed to get criticism if they're not doing it, because you said I'm one of the best in the game. I should be paid that way. Well, if you're one of the best in the game, you should get paid that way. I ain't mad at that, but you need to be a leader, especially with a new staff. And that's just my kind of feelings on that shit. And I mean, people saying George Edwards. I see some people in the feed. I mean, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going to happen with this Mike Nolan thing, but I don't really feel like, unless it gets super drastic where Dallas is like on a 6 or 7 game losing streak and just getting blown out the water, that you see a Mike Nolan going. But I think Mike Nolan's going to be here at least for this year. So the Cowboys got to figure it out at least this year, and then next year you deal with that next year. But right now you got to figure it out. You got to try to save a season. You got a sorry ass division, and the NFC East is terrible. And so you beat the Giants, so you're still 1-0 in the division, even though this is a crappy way to go. You still can beat the Washington team, and you can beat the Eagles and be 3-0 in your division, and can still, if you get healthy, and you can still turn it around. We've seen teams that have been terrible in midseason, terrible, had no hope for the playoffs, and then they go on runs. Am I saying this can happen with Dallas? Yes, because why not? Do I think? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I told you it's a week by week, especially when you don't have a Dak Prescott who gives you a better chance to win than Andy Dalton. I'm sorry. I don't care what y'all say. I know a lot of y'all say Andy Dalton could just come in and work miracles, and I ain't hating on Andy Dalton, but once again, I'm out here in Ohio. I seen Andy Dalton more than a lot of y'all, and I know what Andy Dalton is. And Andy Dalton needs to have a lot of good things happen around him to be good. And yes, that offensive line is not great. So if that offensive line is not great right now, if you got Andy Dalton back there with no Tyron Smith, no La'el Collins, Travis Frederick gone. Now Zach Martin got hurt, but he'll be back. So you got a really makeshift offensive line that's protecting Andy Dalton, who's okay. He's not great. He's okay. So Dallas has to play 100% all the way around. All the way around. So stop pointing the fingers, Cowboys players, and let's try to salvage the season. But at the end of the day, with my last few thoughts on this starts from the top, man. We can go back and forth. And as I said before, man, since Jerry took over this team, and I hate keep going back to it, but damn it, it just frustrates me when I go back and I see, because I was watching it. I watched when he took over, and I watched how Jimmy just took over this. I hate to go back to it, but he was just so meticulous in what he did. He was on it, on it, on it, on it, on it. And that's the type of coach the Cowboys need. Cowboys can't get soft coaches. Okay? You can't. You got to get hard. You don't have to get the hardcore where they're just a jerk to you, but you got to get those, because Dallas Cowboys, they pretty guys sometimes. It's the Cowboys. We're pretty, we're privileged. That's why they play sometimes. So you got to crack the whip on these guys. You got to have that type of coach that's going to crack the whip. And we had a guy who came in there and did that. And you saw how the sweeping changed, how it changed. Then when you move away from that, because that's a headstrong attitude and maybe it's clashing with you, I don't know, then you move on and you just get guys. Like Chan Gailey, good offensive mind, but God, he's a guy. Dave Campo, not hating, but Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett, Bill Parcells in his old days. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need headstrong guys. We need guys that don't F around. But it don't matter sometimes. It just feels like it don't matter. You know, it's frustrating because it feels like it don't matter. Because as long as that fundamental shit goes on up top, it always trickles down and there's always something going on. And we can't keep looking at the coaches. We can't just keep saying the players because every coach that's come in here, it's been the same shit. Every player that's coming here, it's been the same thing. But what's the one thing that hasn't changed in all that drama? You know what? What up, Gambino? It's just crazy, man. Like straight up. So, um, I don't know what to think about this season. I told y'all last week this is a week by week thing with me. Um, I'm guilty of believing the hype. My ass is guilty as hell. I believed the hype. I did because I was so geeked, and I'm not turning on Mike McCarthy. I still think he's a good coach. I think he still can do things. Hey ho, we got a $10 holler from Fresh Prince 512. I don't think McCarthy's soft. He's a meat and potatoes Pittsburgh guy who's getting introduced to the country club in Frisco. The players and GM are the problem. I agree with you, Fresh Prince. I don't believe Mike McCarthy is soft. Just listening to him when he's talking about the players. Hey, you got something that you got to say? Come talk to me. Come holler at me. I mean, I think Mike McCarthy is a stand-up guy. I think he's a player's guy. I think the players deal with him. They may not like Mike Nolan, but I don't think players are hating on Mike McCarthy right now. And I'm not hating on Mike McCarthy. Straight up. I'm glad he's still here. And I have, when they hired Jason Garrett, I didn't have a good feeling. I didn't feel like we were going to go anywhere with Jason Garrett. I felt that instantly. But with Mike McCarthy, I still feel like there's a chance, even with that goofy stuff going on up top. I still think there's a chance with Mike McCarthy because I feel like he is more of a no-nonsense guy. I feel like he is a guy that players can relate to, and I feel like he is a guy that could turn around. But I also said if you was following this damn podcast and this damn feed, I told y'all when he got hired, as much as I loved when McCarthy came in, I loved when they came in, but didn't I tell y'all that he was going to have hot fish grease on his ass? I said the name, hot fish grease. I said he ain't going to have no 3 years from Cowboys fans. He ain't going to get that time. He ain't going to get that time. If he don't produce this year, people going to be going off. I said he was going to have hot fish grease. And guess what? 6 a.m. in, people already want to fire. You know? It's just like I said, it's just the situation is sad. Because like I said, Garrett ain't going nowhere and doing nothing. He with the Giants and they got the worst offense in the league. So, and I heard people on Twitter talking about, oh, I guess it wasn't Jason Garrett. Man, please. He wasn't ever no good coach. He was a good organizational guy. I think he did motivate, but that's it. He ain't no head coach, in my opinion. He's a coordinator. In my opinion, he ain't no head coach. You didn't see teams beating down the door to have Jason Garrett as their head damn coach, even after winning 3 NFC East titles, even after being the second all-time winningest coach in Dallas Cowboys history. Who in the hell was beating down Jason Garrett's door to say, oh, you're going to be our next head coach? Nobody. You went to the Giants, you're the offensive coordinator, and guess what? That offense is shitty. Even when you played the Cowboys, I knew you was going to coach like that, but you know, I just don't want to hear the noise from these Cowboys players. I don't want to hear it. Y'all need to step up. Okay. If this is what it's going to be for the whole year, then y'all going to have to make it work. I don't want to hear Cowboys players, and I'm not even siding with management. This ain't even it. It's just I don't want to hear y'all with this new system talking about it's too hard, it's too complicated. the guy, ain't this, ain't that. Because when the other regime was here, y'all still wasn't doing it. Yeah, it's really bad right now, but maybe players got to step up right now. Like people will come at me and say, Jay, you blaming Garrett, but he didn't do that fumble. He didn't throw that interception. He didn't miss that block. He didn't get that holding call. I said, you're right. I totally agree with you. You're right. He's not out there doing that. That's dumb shit. But when it keeps happening under your watch, those same things over and over and over and over, then I will say, yeah, that has something to do with you because it's happening over and over and over again with the same players or even with different players, the same thing. So that's when I say, okay, that's some coaching. This right here is a whole new regime and it's the same dumb stuff. So I'm thinking y'all was doing this stuff under the last regime. Now y'all doing it worse. Maybe these players just ain't that good. Because as I said, look at the drafting since 2014. Where's there been great drafts? Where's the great defensive draft for the Dallas Cowboys right now? Name me the draft right now that's been great for the Dallas Cowboys on the defensive side of the ball. Give me a draft right now. Just I'm asking the people in the feed. Give me a draft right now under Jason Garrett. What defensive draft has been good and is produced? Y'all tell me what draft that came in under Garrett's regime that's right here right now. What you get what I'm saying? Like we don't have great drafts right now. We haven't had a great defensive draft in a long time. And the most players I think they got on defense besides this recent one was I don't know if it was it 2017 where that's when they went all out and probably all of them guys are gonna be gone. We missed a hell lot of players. They missed on a whole lot of players. That's all I only want to talk about all the players that Dallas could have had and they don't. You get what I'm saying? But who's that fall back on? Who's that fall back on? These football guys that they keep on thinking they are. Jerry does and Steven, he's so smart with the money. Guess what? They ain't that smart. Because as I said before, it wasn't like the Cowboys were 12-4 with Garrett. They weren't 13-3 the last season. They were 8-8. And when you really look at it, when you go back to those seasons that Garrett won, 2018 won the division 3-5. They was about to call for his head. 3-5. We saw that. We weren't playing good at all. And it was the trade that helped, right? So you talking 2019, missed them playoffs, 2018, and I go back to it. You made the playoffs, but you weren't playing great. You had to make a run at the end. And then 2017, you missed the whole playoffs. You had a few injuries. Ezekiel Elliott was suspended. Team falls off. What does that tell you? 2016, 13-3. And I said, when you really look at that team, it was them young boys that took the team by storm because we didn't have great offensive weapons. We had a great offensive line. The offensive line was still damn good, and that's what really helped. But that defense wasn't good in 2016. It wasn't great, but it was that offense. You get what I'm saying? And what happened? Bounced out early. 2015, 2 big injuries, season over. 2014, that was the best chance. But everything had to click. Everything had to be all the way perfectly right for it to happen. And then we've seen it before. 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, 6-10. There ain't been dominant teams by Dallas. And when they did have a good team, like I said, we choked. And I feel like that person up top has to do with it. When I had Anthony Wright on my show, former quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, I had Anthony Wright on my show. And He said that when they played the Giants, because he was with the Cowboys and then he got cut or went left and he went with the Giants. He got a Super Bowl ring, went with the Giants. He said Jerry Jones was on the field on that 13-3 season with Wade Phillips, was on the field basically passing out stuff for the next round. He was on there and he said the Giants saw that. The Giants saw that and they took it personal and they said, we're going to whoop your ass. And what happened? That's the top. That's the management. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like that, those type of things. And and people tell me so many players, Jerry wants to win, and I believe them. But that brand is strong. And people complain about the Joneses, but they don't do anything because they do listen. When the Cowboys, fans ain't going to the games, fans ain't buying that memorabilia, fans ain't on this and that. That's when the Cowboys, if you notice, that's when they start really listening. That's when you hear them listening. That's when they say, oh, let's make a trade, or oh, let's do this or that. Because guess what? Ain't nobody showing up in these damn games. Ain't nobody buying our memorabilia. Everybody ain't doing that. So you do that, Cowboys start listening a little bit more because that money's being affected. And we know it. So, it is what it is. Like I said, this is a week-to-week thing. I have no expectations for this football team any longer. Not giving up on the season, anything like that, but I have no expectations for this team. It's a week-to-week thing. Anybody can beat us right now. I'm looking at us as like we are like one of the worst teams in the league, even though they're not. I'm just looking like we need to feel like that or think like that to, be more scrappy. Guys need to, like I said, y'all need to meet up at the crib. Defense, y'all need to meet at the crib, have a defensive meeting. Y'all need to talk to each other. Y'all need to have an in-house meeting, coaches, players. Y'all need to do something because now you got this stuff leaking in the media with the back and forth. You need to squash it and kill it quick as the leader of the team and Mike McCarthy. So I think you just really need to squash that. Guys need to get together and stop all that damn talking and make it happen. You know what I mean? And, we'll see how it goes. But, this Washington game ain't going to be easy. As sorry as they are offensively, they got a good defense, and this game is not going to be easy at all. And, they got to bring it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Um, you know, it's just frustrating to be a Cowboys fan because it's just the same old thing, man. I think that's the frustrating part more than anything. It's the same old thing. And you just get tired. You get tired of it as a Cowboys fan because you're tired of seeing these other teams who go in the draft who are not good. They go in the draft, and with a few years, they make a couple shrewd free agent acquisitions. Next thing you know, they're in the playoffs, they're in a championship game, and they're competing for a Super Bowl. Meanwhile, over in Dallas, still the all the talk, all the expectations, all the hype, and it just always is hype. And I mean, I'm just tired of that shit. I'm tired of the hype. You know, I'm tired of, you know, talking about it. We got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all players, y'all need to look inside yourselves, y'all souls, y'all spirits. Look with each other in the face, coaches, all y'all. Because I ain't even talking about the Joneses because they ain't always going to do what they do. And basically the players to me are going to have to overcome the management. So y'all got to band together. For real. Band together, man. Like the top dogs. Be the leaders. Because there ain't no leaders right now. Dak is gone. So who's the leader? Who's the leader on the offense right now? Who's the leader on the defense? Who's the one person that can raise their hand on offense and say, follow me? And if it's Ezekiel Elliott, if people going to follow you, dog, you got to hold on to the ball. You know, they're talking about the sleeves. I don't know. I know sleeves are slippery. But my thing is, why is everybody else not wearing sleeves and you are? Like, if that's the problem, if that might be the issue, because Brian Bross been talking about it. I know he wore the sleeves like in 2018. We went on 7-game. Dave Hellman talked about went on a 7-game win streak. He didn't fumble. But if that is probably causing it, and nobody else is wearing damn sleeves in freaking Texas, and you are, and that might be the issue, then take them shits off. Like, real talk, like, take that shit off. Like, if it's affecting you, dog, Tiki Barber, I'm gonna bring it up. He was fumbling like a mother sucker. He changed that football. It looked weird as hell every time he was running with it, but it helped him. Take them damn sleeves off. Because if you're the leader on the offense right now, and they're saying, follow me, then you need to hold on to that ball. You need to stop dropping them passes. And who's the leader on the defense that's raising their hand right now? Jalen Smith said he's the leader on the defense. Then you can't be looking like you looked like last night. That's all I'm saying. If you saying you the leader on this team, the bullets and the bullseye is on you. That's the way it is. So you got to make plays. And if you ain't making them plays, nobody wants to hear them damn excuses. Nobody. These other teams ain't doing it. These other teams that are out there consistently winning, they making excuses. They making that shit happen. We got excuses. These other teams making that shit happen. We always got an excuse. I'm tired of the excuses. I don't want to hear these excuses from this Dallas Cowboy team no more. Stop making the excuses and start doing what you're supposed to do, and let's get some dubs. You know what I'm saying? You got that. Can I hit that black bag? Y'all, I ain't hating on, and I know people think I'm going after Jalen. I'm not, but Zeke Elliott, after you get a first down, stop that damn eating shit. You get what I'm saying, dog? Like, that's over with. When you came in the league, that was hyped. Nobody gives a F about you eating no more. Nobody gives a F about you doing that no more, dog. Get that damn first down, because right after you do that, you fumble. You feel me? So is that lack of focus? Is that lack of concentration? You get no, I don't want to see that. Like, I get it. We 2-4 though. Nobody wants to see you swiping. We ain't with it like that to be swiping or eating and doing nothing. I just don't want to hear that stuff no more. You know what I mean? Like, stop all the extra shit. Get back to the basics and let's win football games. You know what I mean? Because all that extra shit ain't winning us games, right? All that extra shit Dallas is doing, we do it. All that extra stuff, it ain't winning games for us. So let's cut it out. I ain't saying take it out your repertoire, but right now, nobody wants to see that. We want to see dubs. That's the only thing I want to see. So, leaders, where you at? This is where the leaders, right? This is where the leaders need to do. We got people in the locker room talking trash, right? So should the leaders be like, hey, let's get this together. Let's do damage control. We got to stop this because it's us against the world. Right? That's what I mean. They said that before. We're married. It's us against the world. We don't care what everybody else said out at the outside noise. Right? That's what y'all need to do. We ain't trying to listen to that outside noise. We gonna get this done. And just do it. I feel you, Zeke. I feel you in your interviews when you say, I'm sorry, that's on me. I feel him. I trust me, I feel him. I would be the same way. But guess what? It's just like my son telling me he ain't gonna lie to me no more. Right? Okay. My son lied to me a lot. No, he's not really lying to me, my son. He grown. But I'm just saying, my son used to lie a lot when he was a little kid. He used to lie all the time. Lie. Right? And then I'll be like, man, JJ, You still doing the same stuff. Dad, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm gonna do better. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm gonna do better. I mean, what do you think I said to him after he told me 17 times he gonna do better? Man, shut up. I don't want to hear that shit. Just do it. Don't tell me what you gonna do. I don't want to hear the apologies no more. Just do it. And then we'll go from there. I just I understand taking the heat on you. That's a leader. I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, just don't talk to us about no more. Just do that shit like Nike. Yeah. Yes. Mr. DC fitted. I do think Mike McCarthy is the right guy for us. I do. I do. I think Mike Nolan is the right guy. Yes, I'm not wavering on Mike McCarthy. Especially after those 6 damn games, I'm not saying, oh, let's throw Mike McCarthy away. No, no, we got to give this some time. But I definitely don't think he's soft. And I'll give the staff credit in closing that they do make substitutions. We saw Parker out there, right? Because Darren Thompson wasn't doing. He's ranked 82nd out of 82nd safeties. So we got to look at what they're working with. Once again, this ain't their staff, y'all. This ain't their players. Okay, this aren't their players. They inherited these players. These aren't the players they picked to say, "Oh, I want him. I want him." This is the players that they were given. You feel me? So this is the until they get their staff. This is probably going to happen. It's so many players that probably need to sit down. Here you go, man. But I'm done. But we'll see what happens. We got this Washington football team. I'm gonna watch some film tonight. I think we're gonna do the hype tomorrow. Skywalker has some stuff to do. Law has some stuff to do. So and since we had that football game, we kind of didn't have the hype. I did the on the fly with E2 Blue because that's my dog. But we're gonna be doing the hype tomorrow. We'll talk some more things, you know. But at the end of the day, I like McCarthy. He said I only had Popeyes. We had Popeyes. Somebody, I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't never had no. I'm gonna keep it real. I had Chick-fil-A one damn time. One damn time. Yeah, I've only had Chick-fil-A one time, but people tell me they have this sauce that's like it's better than anything out there. I don't know what sauce. I don't know what sauce that is. It's some good ass sauce. Yeah, we're waiting for Randy Gregory for sure, but I don't know if he gonna solve all these problems. But damn, if two people come in that ain't played no football, Alden Smith and Randy Gregory are our best players. That's really weird. Robert Wallace, what does he say? What other positives do we watch in the game for? You talk about this game coming up? I'm asking you, Robert. Oh, it's Chick Fil A sauce. It's called Chick Fil A sauce. But I heard it's ridiculous. I heard it's you'll travel a lot of ways to get that Chick Fil A sauce. It just says fun fact: Walmart chicken dipping sauce tastes exactly like Chick Fil A. Probably so. I would keep it real. I've had cereal that's no name and be good as shit. It's usually the no name brands that be killing it. Real talk. It's the names that you be like, oh, that ain't good. And then you eat it like, ah, damn, where did I get this from? Hey, ho. We got a $10 holla for my dog, Fresh Prince 512 on her 105.3 interview today. Jay Slater said there's a lack of player leadership in the locker room. That's a direct quote from her. There's no Michael Irvins in this franchise anymore. Yeah, I agree. There's who is the leader? Remember when Sean Lee used to be that leader of the defense? He ain't that guy no more. No, I ain't sick. I just hit a black, so I'm breathing through my nose. I don't know why I breathe through my nose after I hit a black. I don't know. I don't want to intake all that damn smoke like that unless it's 024. 024. But hey, y'all, I'm gonna get out of here because I just got off work. I'm tired as shit. For real. I came up 2 back-to-back days straight from work on to the thing. I'm sleeping. But I'm gonna check some film out. I'm gonna post some things tonight. DAC, Matty Ice, your stuff is coming. Jim Laws, your stuff is coming. Sorry there was a delay. My dog, the lunatic, he's sending my stuff for me. He has some things going on. Please pray for his family, for real, for real. Because if you notice, you haven't seen the lunatic in a lot of the feeds lately. He's got some stuff going on with his family, and no, it's an actual black and mild KMT. I used to put the chronic in my black and milds. I used to put the chronic in my black and milds because when I was living in Virginia, I was one to walk on the beach and I didn't want them police sweating me. So I just packed my black and milds full of chronic and I just be walking down the street with, smoking a black, but I'm really smoking chronic. I mean, they got the pens now. I like the pens, but I go too hard on them pens. You feel me? I eat them pens up. So, but yeah, I used to. Saying? But yeah, Virginia Beach. I used to live out there. My mother lives in Virginia Beach right now. I lived in Virginia Beach. I lived in Virginia for probably about 4 years. I lived there in the mid '90s. Virginia is loved. I just went out there last October. I love some of Virginia Beach. It's beautiful out there. But I'm international. I've been all over. Yeah, them pens are hit and miss. Like you got to get a really good pen. Like my homeboy, he got them pens all day. Um, but you got to get them good pens. Some of them ain't all that great. But my dude, he always usually keeps them good pens and got them good little flavors. And I'm the type of dude I'll be at work and just be like, psh, I'll be at work right in your face, blowing. I'll blow that pen right in front of your face. I don't care. My job, they don't sweat me for the 024 at my job. See, I can do. They don't check for the 024 at my job. What the pens? What chronic? Shit. I start my boxing tomorrow. I gotta chill out. For real. But hey ho, we got a $5 holla fresh prince 512. You doing it today? I love you today, dog. You doing it. And they are worried about Earl Thomas destroying the locker room. Remember that. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny as hell. We were talking about that yesterday on the feed that they all concerned about Earl Thomas destroying the locker room. Shit, the shit looked like already destroyed. It wasn't Earl Thomas that was going to come in there and mess it up. You know what I mean? Guys just need to get this shit together and stop making excuses. That's the biggest thing. Stop with the excuses. Get yourselves together. Sit down. Make it happen and do this for yourselves and do this for the organization, do this for the fans because fans, we want y'all to succeed. We want Jalen Smith to work. We want a DeMarcus Lawrence. I want these players. I want all these players to succeed. But if they're not doing it, guess what? They got to receive criticism like everybody else. I mean, that's just what it is. It's a what have you done for me now lately business. And right now, lately it's 2-4 and it ain't looking good. So guys got to get together and they got to round the troops. They got to surround what they do, make the circle, do whatever y'all got to do. But there's got to be some leadership that's taking in that locker room, and it has to start now. Your top leader, Dak Prescott, is gone. So whoever the leaders are on the offense, the defense, they need to step up, stand up in that locker room and say, stop all that other BS. We got to get together because it's only us. It ain't nobody else. It's us. And if we don't do it, ain't nobody going to do it. So y'all got to talk to each other and y'all got to make that happen, man, because this season can still be saved. This season can still be turned around. We cannot go into the lottery. They can still make this happen, but they got to look themselves in the mirror and say, we got to do it and stop with all the extra this and that to the left and to the right. Got to be straightforward, looking ahead, one mind, one goal, one thought. And if it ain't that, there ain't going to be shit else going on with this season. Period. Point blank. All right. So I love you guys. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Make sure you tune into the hype. It's going down, and we will talk to you soon. I love everybody that was in the feed. Shout out to everybody that was in the feed. You guys were great today. Great job. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. And I appreciate you. Check out some film. I'm going to be posting some film later on tonight, and just check it out. And please become a subscriber, become a member. I got a couple people that just became subscribers, so I got to give out their gifts. Boo Thing's going to do that for me, and we'll talk to you soon. And once again, love everybody. Thank you for supporting Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow on the Late Night Hype. All right, peace, and y'all be safe. All right, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay, peace.